And it's 6 o'clock Sunday evening. Welcome everybody. Good to have you here tonight. Hello everybody. Hello Nadine, Ilani, Gabby. Good to see you all tonight. No, not seeing, but in spirit. Good to have you all on board here tonight. And I trust that this topic that we're going to share tonight, wow, you're going to love it. Because we're still working on the issue of self-forgiveness. Because some of you say this topic regarding self-forgiveness, I'm struggling. So I decided I want to add some more issues, more points, more perspectives, more views, angles to this beautiful topic of self-forgiveness. And I trust that this topic tonight will seal the whole discussion tonight. And it's very important to watch last week's video on self-forgiveness. And this one will add some value to it. So they operate in tandem. Good to have you all here. Everybody, Pat, Mirinda, everybody here tonight. Welcome. Good to have you. You know how it's always working. I always say, please do not hesitate to comment below, because this is how we keep everything alive here. Your feedback is also valuable to me, because it gives me idea in the direction that I need to move with the show tonight. So that's what we're going to do tonight. And hello Mark, how are you doing? Long time no see. Marika, hello. I'm glad that you are also tuned in tonight and that you will also find some true value on this topic tonight. Do you struggle to forgive yourself? Is there an area in your life that you just struggle to let go of, and you just holding yourself so accountable to such an extreme that you're judging yourself harshly for things that happened in the past, recent or distant past? Regardless of that, the fact is that you are struggling. You can't let go. You don't know how to let go of. And you are really, really now suffering. Suffering is the consequence of not ready or able or willing, doesn't matter what, to let go of. We are clinging on to something of the past. And this is why we are here tonight. I would like to help you to really break this pattern here tonight, so that you can be free and move on to be your true, authentic self. Okay? That's what it's all about, to be your true, authentic self. To operate according to the formula, the ancient master formula, on your, yes, you hear it, highest excitement. That's what we're going to do tonight. Once again, tonight we're going to look at the formula. And I'm going to do something different tonight with the topic of self-forgiveness. I'm going to look at the formula and integrate that with the very important aspect of boundaries. And how does boundaries work? How do boundaries work in terms of self-forgiveness? You will see it tonight. I'm just waiting for more people to come on board. Nomfanelo, yes, welcome here tonight to have you on board. And great to have you all. I see we're on about 8 people now. And I am basically almost ready. I'm just waiting another minute to see if there's more people coming. Trust you had a good week. How wonderful would it be if you can shift tonight towards the point of making a decision and being ready to let go of the old and shift into the new authentic you, starting your Monday with a new version of yourself, so that your body can also be healed from all sorts of illnesses. Because if we can't forgive ourselves, it makes us sick. It puts a lot of strain on the body, especially there on the stomach area, and also with your heart and your lungs, stiff shoulders and neck. These are the areas that is strongly affected when we can't forgive ourselves, because the punishment is just enormous. It's an immense. And that's why we have this show tonight, to help you to be free, to be free, to be free. You deserve it. This is your birthright, to be free, not to be chained to the past. Do you agree with me? So, hello, Kenzie. Oh, good to have you also here tonight. And thank you for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate you. It's because of you that this show is on. It's because of you tuning in on a Sunday night that prompts me every Sunday night to say, hello, here I am also. Because you are saying, according to the formula, this is your highest excitement. You can't think of anything better than being here on a Sunday evening. You could have done anything else, but here you are. Hello, Bianca. Good to have you also. Yes. Oh, you are there. Good. Your journey is carrying on. I'm glad that all of the best there. That where you are currently there. And hello, Graham. Graham, many decades since I last spoke to you. I always see you responding towards all the issues there on Facebook. I always follow your strong points there on Facebook. Yes, Graham, great to have you also here tonight on board. And hello, Teresa. I think you tuned in first here tonight. So this is all the greetings done now. And the rest will join wherever they all will be welcome. They will also be welcome. Are you ready for tonight's show? This is what we're going to focus on. Always, I say, as usual, it's a time to reflect on what happened today, this week, to relax tonight, and also to see if there's a possibility that you can reset yourself for this week. Let go of what needs to be discarded and focus on the here and now as you're moving forward to reset yourself. This is what we're going to all do here tonight. And remember, we are also on YouTube live right now. This is also that platform for some people suitable. And also keep in mind that directly after the show, I will also put the recorded versions link on the Facebook page so that you can watch it, share it with everybody. This is not just for this small group. This page is for everybody. Mindful moments. So that's what this page is all about. Stay in the present moment. Learn more about the dimensions of mindfulness and how it's applicable to your mental health. How it's a powerful tool for you to stay on the straight and narrow. For those of you who are in recovery, that you know staying in the present moment is your best skill, with all the other associated supportive secondary skills surrounding and pertaining to mindfulness. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight. We're going to look at how self-forgiveness can be a powerful tool to help you on your journey of staying in the present moment. Hello, Teresa. Yeah, oh, that's a beautiful spelling of your name. From Roodepoort. Welcome here tonight. For the first time. Yes, I hope you can enjoy tonight. And so, any news for you? Anyone that I had to highlight this week? Anyone who's been experiencing by the application of the formula that I've been teaching you. By the way, tonight's episode 24, where I'm teaching you about this ancient formula. And once again tonight, the elements of the formula will be explained to you from the perspective of self-forgiveness. And that's what I'm excited. I'm very, very excited to share that with you tonight. So, shall we start? Let's get things rolling. Hello, Marlet, my good colleague. Many years ago that we've met, eh? I think we know each other more than 20 years. So great to have you also on board, my good colleague. Now, let's get things started. The show must go on. The show must go on. Ever realized or thought about the idea that we can have a show on mental health? Yeah, that's what we are doing here tonight. So the topic for tonight: forgive, release, and protect. With the subtitle, the tagline of transforming regret into self-respect, which is actually the formula of self-forgiveness and boundaries that we're going to tackle tonight. So here's the formula that I would like to use tonight as our guideline for you to understand how to let go of the past and also to set yourself free by using the elements of the formula. Now, what is this formula? Let's see it tonight, what it's all about. But before we start, you know what? Here's my introductory remark that You teach yourself how to treat yourself by the boundaries you are going to set with your past, with your guilt, and with your inner critic that is sometimes so loud you can't hear anything else, but that inner critic is just condemning you all the way. And that is very, very, very powerful. Hello, Cameron. Welcome here tonight. You just need to get out of Facebook and just reset it, and then you will have access to the direct broadcast here tonight. Sometimes we just need to get out of Facebook and then again, and then you will have full access to it. Right, so let's get it started. You know what? Let's redefine the formula. Redefine your excitement, the call beneath the chaos in your life. The formula says we need to act on our highest excitement with no expectation of the outcome. You see, the past decision, however impulsive, whatever that decision or decisions you made in the past, was chasing a version of joy or freedom. I want you to understand that thing that you did that you have now regret over or on or about, initially it was you chasing a version of joy or freedom. Instead of now, in rejecting the whole experience of what happened, I want you to think back about the intention behind it, why you did it. What was your initial intention behind it? Why did you do that thing? Whether it was a one-night stand or taking drugs or cheating on your partner, whatever it was, think about the story behind why did you do it? What was the need behind it, the intention behind it? Because that intention, the real need, the unfulfilled need, is still living inside of you. That's why you have regret. That's why you have the regret. That's why you can't forgive yourself, because it's still stuck inside of you, the initial need. It still lives in you, waiting to be reborn in a wiser form. You must understand tonight, if I can't forgive myself yet, I'm not acting in the wiser form. So let's link this to boundaries. Forgiveness requires projecting your new path, or protecting rather. You protect your new path from the old patterns. You need to understand that when we forgive, there's a protection measurement that you are activating. It means saying, that version of me didn't know better at that point. But this version now says, it does have the insight. And here's where I draw the line in myself. Some of you may say, I've relapsed and I can't forgive myself for relapsing, and that's why I have to be readmitted. But at that stage, that version of you didn't know better, because deep inside of you there was an unmet emotional need, and what you did at that moment maybe was not the wisest thing that you act on, but this is or was the best to your ability at that stage that you did. In retrospect, of course, now you realize it was chaotic. But that's what happened. So I want you to understand tonight the story behind the story. There's a pain behind it, why we did it. It's an unfulfilled need. You were chasing a version of joy or freedom at that stage. That's why you did it. Of course, now it backfired. And now we want to put it in line with boundaries to say this new version of me needs to protect myself from the old patterns. And now it's important for you to ask yourself, what true desire was I at that stage attempting to meet through that decision I made? Think about that. Don't think about the decision, but think about the true desire. What were you chasing? That's the issue. And I repeat it, if you still can't forgive yourself, it's because that core issue is still existing. Now, if you journal it, you can write it. How can I now meet that desire in a way that honors who I have become? So that's the first point I want to help you tonight. Okay? So you get it. This is when we redefine our highest excitement. And when you relapse, for instance, with alcohol or drugs, that's not acting on your highest excitement. That is a lower vibrational energy that drags you down, that's going to bring pain. When you crave for drugs or alcohol, when you crave to go and gambling or to do that instant impulsive thing, that's not on your highest excitement because it doesn't come from your higher self. It comes from your lower greed, selfish, egotistical desire. And this is where you're going to have to learn to distinguish between what's my highest excitement, which has got to do with the calling, the passion, the purpose in my life, the signal from God about your purpose in life. This is what we need to understand. To the first point here tonight, we're going to have to learn to redefine your excitement. What truly excites you? And if you say, I can't find my true excitement, but that's why you've been doing these things that hurt yourself, you've been chasing something else. Find out what that is. That's where your highest excitement lies. Do you get the revelation? If not, please listen to this point and rewind the video hereafter, because this is something that can set you free tonight to forgive yourself. What were you chasing? What was it that you were chasing at that point that caused you to behave in such a way? Great. Now, let's move on. The formula goes further. After we say act on your highest excitement, then the second part says you need to act on your highest excitement with integrity. This means be who you say you are. And this is, integrity means ownership and boundaries with that guilt that is trying to evade, because guilt, here, self-judgment, is in fact a boundary violation. Now, integrity here is that you act on your highest excitement with who you truly are, but integrity isn't perfection. It's that alignment that you are having with your physical self, lining up with your higher self. That's alignment. There's a congruency here between your higher self and your physical self. It's not about explaining your past to everyone. It's about living your present in truth. When we learn to act on our highest excitement with integrity, you must set boundaries with the guilt issue. The guilt issue is the invader. Is the one that is now invading the house. And you cannot keep punishing yourself and expect to heal. And this is where you need to understand tonight by saying this: I will no longer let guilt become my identity. I am responsible, not irredeemable. I'm not perfect. And this is how powerful the concept of self-forgiveness works when we line it up with boundaries here tonight. And this is where I want to encourage some of you, because some of you spoke to me this week, say, I'm suffering, I don't know how to forgive myself. I want to encourage you tonight to get a pen and paper and start writing a guilt contract termination letter. For instance, dear guilt, hello. Thank you for trying to keep me from repeating pain. But now I choose wisdom over punishment. It's a choice that I'm making. And this is part of the formula that I've been teaching you over the past 24 episodes. You need to put out the intention. The intention here tonight is I want to forgive myself, but I still don't know how to do it. But yet I am ready to put out the intention. Okay, that's why I put it there out for you on the poster there, that you can see it and you can read it. And here's an example of that guilt contract termination letter that you are deciding now to let go of it. And you speak to guilt. In fact, you now personify it. Guilt is like a person. Give it a name. Whatever name. Is there any one of you here to really look at a name? Hi Pat, you ask, are these classes recorded? Of course, it's there on the YouTube channel, The Ancient Master. All the classes, all the 24 classes have been recorded, and this one is also busy getting recorded if you're going to miss or did miss some of the points here tonight. Thanks for asking. Right, you get it. This is when we take ownership of self-forgiveness by putting the boundary in with guilt. The intention of termination, the eviction, is about to be activated when you write the contract termination letter. Ladies and gentlemen, how does that sound? Do I sound quite formal tonight here? Of course it's a formal issue here. We just need to deal with this formality. Right, so that's what it means when you act on your highest excitement. My highest excitement says, I want to be free. I want to be the true, authentic person, and I'm going to do it with integrity, namely that my physical self, the driver, needs to line up with the navigator, my higher self, and the driver must stop questioning the integrity of the higher self, the navigator. The driver needs to align up with integrity and respect the guidance of the higher self here tonight. That's what I mean with integrity. Be who you say you are. Let the lower self, the physical self, line up with truth. And that's how it works. Right, you get it. It's new stuff, eh? Have you ever thought we can look at self-forgiveness from this angle? Well, there's always a first time, eh? Right, so let's go to the next point. Point number 3, the formula says, let go of the outcome. You set your intention, you act on your highest excitement with no expectation on the outcome. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how I'm going to be able to forgive myself. How will it transpire? How? No. Lower self, driver, stop asking the navigator how. Follow the navigation system of the intention that I would like to forgive myself. Follow the path, go in the flow, stay in the flow. That's how it works. Let go of the outcome. Stop thinking about how in the future. Stay in the moment and set that boundaries with the regret issue that you have. You don't insist on the outcomes. Surrender to your higher mind's orchestration. You see, regret is a backward facing energy. Your soul is forward facing. Your soul always want to move on, but regret is trying to go backward. And when we go backward, it hurts. And you may not have the outcome you once wanted, but that doesn't mean you can't have peace, because it's a journey. So here it is. Set an emotional boundary with regret. This regret issue, I need to wring its neck tonight. Give it a window to visit. So when you feel the regrets, allow it to come. Don't ignore the emotion of regret. Here's the tool. Feel it. Experience the pain of regret. Use the 90-second rule. Time yourself, the alarm, for 90 seconds. I'm going to feel the emotion now of regret. Give it window. Give it some space to visit you. Accept the emotion. Otherwise, it will just brew and grew underneath the surface. Give it a window to visit, not a seat at your table. You get it? Give it a window to visit, not a seat at your table. You acknowledge it when it knocks on your door there. When it knocks on your door, you acknowledge when the bell is ringing. Acknowledge it. Don't ignore it. Feel the emotion of regret. But then the formula says, let it go. It's like breathing in and breathing out. You breathe it out, you let it go. And you can even, for those of you who are journaling, have a section in your journal allocated to this exercise, the regret journal exercise. Write down the thing or the things what you regret. Then write what you've gained in insight, in empathy, or direction from that experience. Because there's always a lesson to learn from that detour that you made, from that so-called unwise decision you made. In return, in retrospect, where at looking back at it, there's always lesson to learn, because everything in life happens for a purpose, not only the nice things. Not only the traumatic things, but also those so-called stupid mistakes. They serve also as your teaching master. You learn from it. You learn from it. Those of you who have relapsed into alcohol or drugs, we call it state-dependent learning. State-dependent learning is, I've learned from my relapses. In that state, I've learned so many lessons. That is why I'm staying on the straight and narrow. And that's how powerful this stuff is here tonight. We learn from the mistakes. We learn from the setback. We learn from the embarrassment, the failures, the mistakes, the shame, all of these things. We learn from it. And as you learn to forgive yourself and put the boundaries in place of regret, against regret, you are now moving towards a higher state, because you are shifting to another level, because you are listening or submitting to your higher self. That's the power. So let me just pause here for a while. Deep stuff, eh? Deep stuff. Does it make sense? For some of you, you say sometimes to me, Jeff, this stuff is going over my head. We understand. I understand this, because the perspective as we operate according to the ancient master formula is new for many of you. That's beautiful. Hello, Cornelia. You also here. Hello, Gordon, Karen, everybody. Cornelia, he said, I learned that no outside source or substance can fill the void. It can also come from yourself. Happiness is an inside job. It comes from within. It's a journey from within. Nothing outside can satisfy you. Your emotional needs to be fulfilled from deep within. That's how it works. Yes, and this is why when we work on forgiving ourselves, we're doing soul search. The journey of self-forgiveness is when we turn inward in a non-judgmental way, when we search the soul. And that's what we do here tonight. You act on your highest excitement with no insistence on the outcome, and you set boundaries against regret. Right. Now, let's see how it works. Some of you are living with the consequences of your mistake, of the decision you made, the relapse, the one-night stand, the cheat, whatever it was. There's consequences. There's always consequences when we violate, when we break the boundaries. There's consequences, and many of you are living with the consequences. But you can stop being punished by them. There's a difference between living with the consequences and you can stop being punished by them. The consequences doesn't have to be seen as the punishment. The consequences can be seen as a learning experience. It can be viewed as it's all supposed to happen. It's part of shaping me. The best you can with what you have from where you are. Let me repeat, do the best you can with what you have from where you are. And this is how the formula says, act on your highest excitement with no expectation on the outcome to the best ability. To the best ability from where you are. Because some consequences do not disappear, but how you relate to them can change completely. Do you get it? Some consequences, they don't disappear. And that's why some of you say tonight to me, Jeff, I can't forgive myself because it reminds me daily of what I did. But now I want to help you tonight to shift the relationship with the consequences and not to view it any longer as a punishment, but it's part of how it's shaping your reality. It's the path that you are now walking, and this is where radical self-respect and inner boundaries are vital in this case. Because now you are correcting it. Even if you are living with the consequences, you're going to redefine what is your highest excitement, act on that to the best of your ability until you can't take it further. That's how you're going to do it. You see, you need to put boundaries in with this inner critic, because this is why we can't forgive, because there's an inner critic from your lower self, from your physical mind, shouting out of turn and trying to ignore the signal, the GPS signal from your higher self, which is saying, grant me grace. That's how it works. Your inner critic will say, or may say, you deserve this mess. But your higher mind says, you've paid your dues. Now lead. And here's the affirmation of how we shift. Repeat it after me. I am no longer the same person who made that decision. I honor their pain, but I live from today's wisdom. You get it? Let's repeat it. The affirmation says and goes, I am no longer the same person who made that decision. I honor the pain, but I live from today's wisdom. That's the power. That's how it works. You get it? Yes, for those of you just tuned in, welcome everybody. There's a couple of you just tuned in, welcome. The point that I've been saying here is live with the consequences. Of course, we live with the consequences when we've made those decisions that we struggle to forgive ourselves on. Of course, you live with the consequences. But living with the consequences doesn't mean that you have to live with regrets. And this is where many of you are stuck, because you think the consequences is the punishment. The consequences is part of the shaping. The consequences is a part of the path that you have to walk. And the purpose of the path is to teach you what is the meaning of grace. If you didn't do that so-called stupid thing, you wouldn't understand the meaning of grace. Now that you can grant yourself the grace that you deserve, you are learning the lesson that your higher mind is trying to bring across to you so that you can grow. So driver, the physical mind, needs to listen and submit to the authority of the navigator. Okay? This is how we learn to forgive ourselves. Right, let me just pause here for a while because this stuff tonight is a bit deep. Eh? You are welcome to comment below if this is your journey. I get the feeling that many of you, tonight, it hits deep. Eh? But this video recording can help you, and the message here tonight can teach you to shift your whole destiny into a new direction. Right. But that's not all. There's more that I would like to share with you on this beautiful topic of self-forgiveness. As you follow the formula, by acting on your highest excitement now, and redefining now what your highest excitement is, act on it with integrity to the best of your ability until you can't take it any further. The formula states the following: synchronicities will confirm your healing path. That's why many people who can't forgive themselves, they are stuck in a terrible loop and no synchronicities will happen. When you follow the formula and you have set out the intention with the elevated emotion of gratitude assigned to it, and with the intention of forgiving yourself, that's why you've tuned into it tonight, synchronicities will reward you. As you forgive yourself, your life begins to realign. Even if you only put out the intention of the desire to forgive yourself, early drops of rain of synchronicities will start manifesting. There will be confirmations. There will be WhatsApp confirmations. There will be signs, symbols, and numbers appearing to you, messages coming to you, any kind of nudges and kind of messengers that you previously didn't realize will come to you. Any kind of parallels will come to you. In any kind of deja vu will happen. Synchronicities have got many, many faces, in many forms that it will come upon your way. It will reward you. That's why I'm encouraging you also to start a synchronicity journal. Because self-forgiveness leads you and guides you towards a realignment. And that realignment goes along with all of these wonderful synchronicities. And let me tell you one thing: when synchronicity starts to manifest in your life, ladies and gentlemen, act on it. Because these are confirmations. The people, the insights, the opportunities that show up on just random events, they are echoes of your inner shift that you're making. Wow! 30 years ago when I was a pastor, at this point I would have said, glory, hallelujah, amen. That's how it works. Synchronicities will always confirm that the formula is working and that you are on the right path. So here's the boundary tip. Be willing to walk away from anything that pulls you back into the frequency of your former self. even if it's familiar. Familiarity means you sit and mope. You sit there and just sit there in front of the TV and stare into the abyss. No, that kind of familiarity will cause you not to have the sensation and the elevation of synchronicities. Because healing, ladies and gentlemen, requires loving discomfort more than toxic familiarity in your life. That's a beautiful line. That's a beautiful one. Healing requires loving discomfort more than toxic familiarity, because when you put out the intention to get to the point of self-forgiveness, it may feel strange. It may feel even very uncomfortable, but that is fine. That's part of the journey, part of the experience. That's why it's exciting. When I forgive myself, it's part of the path of my highest excitement, towards my highest excitement. When I forgive myself, it may not feel very exciting to do it. It's painful, but it will open the path. It will unlock something inside of you, which is called the highest excitement. No wonder last week some of you said to me, Jath, I have no clue what my highest excitement is. You will never know what your highest excitement is if you dwell in the past. It will never unveil to you anything. Nothing. There will be no synchronicities because you're caught up in that loop. You have to follow the formula. And the next point, forgiveness is the foundation, and boundaries are the structure. I repeat, forgiveness is the foundation and boundaries are the structure. Forgiveness says, I release the past. Boundaries says, and I protect my future. You need both. Because boundaries without forgiveness leads to bitterness, and forgiveness without boundaries invites repetition. Aren't you sick and tired of repetition? The predictable future, which is exactly the same as the painful past, if we don't forgive ourselves. So here's some practice. If you can list 3 ways you can set energetic or relational boundaries this week in terms of forgiving yourself. Let me give you an example. For instance, I will no longer replay that moment before bed. Give it a window, but not the seat. Remember that, what I said earlier? If you used to blame and beat yourself up in the evenings, you set up the intention, I will no longer replay that moment before bed. I don't want to ruin my night's sleep. I will not explain myself to people who aren't safe. I will protect my new choices in my life. Powerful stuff, eh? This is how self-forgiveness is working in our life. You get it? Now, for many of you, you're going to have to listen to this broadcast a couple of times because it's new to you. It's new, and it's fine if it's new because you've never heard of this angle before on self-forgiveness. Now, here comes the nice part. What am I going to do now? I'm going to take the last week episode with tonight, and I'm going to merge them to what I'm going to share with you now. True, self-forgiveness begins with grace, the gentle on earth acceptance of our humanness. Okay? It's the courageous act of saying, I didn't know better then, but now I choose to love myself. Many live trapped in regret, haunted by decisions made in lower states of awareness according to the physical self. Yet, every misstep holds a sacred function. Oh, but it's bad. No, no, no. Every misstep holds a sacred function. It reveals our unmet needs. It reveals and exposes suppressed truths in our lives or unhealed wounds asking for our attention. It's knocking on our door in forms of cheating, in forms of relapse, in forms of these unhealthy behaviors. But when we stop seeing mistakes as failures and start viewing them as feedback, a mirror from life itself, we can unlock the wisdom buried in our past. We can unlock that wisdom which is buried on your past in retrospect. You change your view now, your perspective. So self-forgiveness is not about erasing the memory. It's all about extracting the meaning. Get it? As we grow on this path, episode number 24 tonight, in self-awareness, as you grow in self-awareness, boundaries naturally emerge. That's what I want to help you tonight. How do we set boundaries? Create more awareness, which we are doing. Boundaries will naturally emerge, not as rigid defenses in your life, but rather as expressions of self-respect. You see, boundaries will say, I have forgiven myself and I honor that healing by protecting it. Alongside this comes the power of gratitude, the highest possible elevated emotion of all the emotions that exist is gratitude. So now gratitude comes in place. The often overlooked medicine in the forgiveness journey. It soothes the soul. It can heal you on cellular level. Neuroscience is confirming it. When we thank, in other words, our past for shaping our wisdom, we reclaim energy that was once frozen in shame. So you thank your past. With time, gratitude comes and it transforms regret into reverence. It's a transformation that's taking place. Okay? This is deep stuff. Let it sink into your soul of what you hear tonight. You see, you no longer just forgive who you were. You become deeply thankful for how that version of you led you here. Because this is where you are tonight. That version, or the painful version, or maybe even the crooked version, has led you here to get this message here tonight. Thank you, past. Thank you, inner child, for trying his best. Although he didn't do the way you expect now, in retrospect, for them to operate, but this is how your inner self, your past self operated, your inner child. Be grateful for that. Yes. Must I repeat it? You no longer just forgive who you were. You become deeply grateful for how that version of you led you to being here tonight. Aren't you grateful to hear this message? Aren't you? Hopefully, yes. So, that's how self-forgiveness works. Embrace this message and thank yourself and your painful self. your physical self, your physical mind, your inner child. Thank that one for the job they did. Now finally, self-forgiveness is a spiritual realignment that you are activating. Why? It brings us back into flow with the higher mind, the alignment, allowing synchronicities to return and guiding us gently through grace rather than guilt. Powerful stuff, eh? I'm grateful to have you here on board tonight, that you have tuned in here tonight. Okay, the practice of this formula, we call it the Ancient Master Formula, living your truth with excitement, intention, and integrity. Now you've learned so far tonight what is my definition of integrity. And also surrender to the flow of your healing becomes, in other words, a daily path that you are following towards inner freedom in your life. See, now you're creating a space, and in this space, self-love isn't a reward for perfection. There's no room for perfection here. It's a starting point, rather, in your life. So when you embody this love, you no longer seek worthiness. You just remember it. And from that place, your life becomes not just healed, but whole. Wholeness is busy taking place in your life. Right. Yes, Cornelia, as you say, walking away is difficult. This might require leaving some people behind. That's the unease that I spoke about earlier. The walking away, the breaking of that relationship. That's painful. And stop beating yourself up. We are so used to do it. And when the guilt comes, we grab for the bottle or whatever. And then we just numb it. Tonight, we are bringing it to the surface so that you can face it in a loving, kind, non-judgmental way and getting healed, but beyond healing, wholeness, shalom, that you can experience that which is your birthright. Okay. So, thank you everybody here tonight for your message that you sent here or your comments here below. I'm very, very excited to tell you next week what we're going to do is I want to show you how the formula is working to enforce stronger boundaries in your life. Cornelia, you asked last week, you sent me a WhatsApp, you want to learn more about boundaries in the context of the formula. So we're going to do it. If you ask something, I'm going to always keep that in mind, and I will include it because this is our time here together. But what I thought was necessary to build a bridge and to merge the idea of self-forgiveness with boundaries, to introduce slowly tonight the idea of boundaries to you. I hope this is really, really helping you in a beautiful, powerful way. I see tonight, I'm not finished yet. There's still 5 minutes left. And maybe just to cool down the heat of this heavy topic, I'm just wondering if I must not call Wally. Wally, where are you? Don't you want to also just come and have a few words of encouragement from your perspective on self-forgiveness? Wally, where are you? What are you busy doing? He's busy chewing on. What is it? He's chewing. Okay, that doesn't matter. Oh, here you are. Hello.
Hi everybody. Great to have you all here tonight. Jeff has asked me to share something with you tonight.
No, carry on.
Okay. I've got a song I want to sing here tonight.
Oh my goodness. Hopefully it's not that song with those kind of dirty words.
No. It's the nice one. Okay.
Right. Wally, are you ready to sing that song about
Self-forgiveness from a fluffy perspective.
Okay, carry on. Okay, let's see what Wally is going to dish up for you.
Okay, right. Where's the music?
I don't have the music.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it a cappella. Right, here comes it. 1, 2, 3, 4. How's the words? Okay, here it goes. I lost my sock and my snack today. My fluff's in knots and my brain ran away. Dropped my cupcake, faced the floor, then sneezed so hard I flew out the door. Don't worry, be happy. Life's a mess, but I'm still snappy. Don't worry, be happy. Life's a mess, but I'm still snappy. I'm losing my voice.
No, it isn't. That is so kind. That's so nice. Wally, I never realized you've got singing talent.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. Now, what does this song have to do with self-forgiveness?
I'm not perfect, but I love myself, and I'm allowed to make mistakes like dropping cupcake on the floor.
Have you picked up the cupcake yet?
No, I'm gonna suck it up.
No. Okay, thanks for sharing that with us tonight, Wally.
Don't worry, be happy. Wally, be happy, don't worry.
Okay, so this is the Don't Wally, Be Happy song that he's been singing tonight. Okay, any other words of encouragement that you can give to our audience here tonight?
Ladies and gentlemen, you must forgive yourself if you drop the cupcake on the floor, as long as you don't suck it up, okay? Broom it up, don't suck it up.
Yes, that's how you take ownership. Don't suck it up, just broom it away, okay? Right, so thanks for that piece of fluffy wisdom that you've been sharing with me tonight. My nice fluffy friend here. He's so adorable. I just love you. Yes, that song. I think we must take you to the recording studio that we can see how we can make this song a bit more with music. What do you think? Must we not perhaps put some music onto it and maybe a bit of a reggae beat?
Reggae, yeah. Reggae. That would be a nice one. Okay. Yeah. Love you all. Thank you so much. Let me just go clean up the cupcake mess there on the floor in the kitchen.
Now that's nice. Thank you so much, Wally. Love you. Okay, that's it. Yeah, even a puppet can teach us some lessons about self-forgiveness in a humoristic way. Thank you, Ilani, for your beautiful words. It's been very helpful tonight here. Bareki, you say very grateful. Grateful for the insight and knowledge. Highly appreciated. Thank you. Beautiful. That's what this show is all about, to help you that on this journey that we are traveling here, let's travel light. Let's shed off all the burdens. Hello? Shed it off, let it go. Act on your highest excitement. Realign yourself to figure out what's truly exciting you. Because when you did those initial things, you thought you were acting on your highest excitement, but it didn't happen because you were acting on your needs. But it came out in a twisted way, and that's why you need to forgive yourself. because you didn't understood at that stage why you were doing it. Now, in retrospect, you understand there was a deeper, unfulfilled, unmet need. And that's why I can do soul search to figure out what is the void in my life that compelled me to do these unhealthy things. And as I grant now grace towards myself, knowing that the inner self, the past me, didn't understood this wisdom yet, I can grant grace towards that person, that inner child. May you have a fantastic week. May this week be wonderful for you as you move on, realigning yourself to act on your highest, truly highest excitement as you explore your emotional needs and you act on that. Thank you so much. See you next week when we're going to start focusing on the issues of boundaries in the context and framework of the formula. Take care, have a blessed week, and see you next Sunday evening. Same place, same face, with Jazz and me also, yeah. Yes, the two of us will be gang. Have you cleaned up the cupcakes there? Oh my goodness. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Sleep well. Take care. And may you have an all wonderful week lying ahead. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Now, Wally, now that we are off air.
No, we're still on air. You're not going to catch me with that thing. The red light is still on.
Okay, the red light is still on. Thought I'm going to play a prank on him, but no. How does that song go about that you just sang now? When you want to sing again, give me out. Because I think we need to keep the recording on still. If you can really look at this beautiful song.
Are we still on air?
I think so. We're still on air, but everybody has now gone off air, so we can just rehearse the song.
Okay. Right. So let me try to remember the words. It's about. I lost my sock and my snack today. My fluff's in knots and my brain ran away. Dropped my cupcake, faced the floor, then sneezed so hard I flew out the door. Don't worry, be happy. Life's a mess, but I'm still snappy. Don't worry, be happy. Life's a mess, but I'm still snappy. Snappy, 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 snappy.
That's a nice one. That's a nice one. Okay, I think what we must do, we must just submit this week to that other producer friend of mine and see, let's look at the quality of the potential of the song.
Excitement. That's my highest excitement, to produce my own album.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Right, now just go and clean up the cupcake there.
Wally, don't worry.
Don't worry, be happy. Okay, cheers, bye, love you all.